Hey everyone, this is GOL from Productions², and today we're just going to do a little bit of recording for Space Crusade developers vlog. The reason I'm doing this some more recording for it is because I've actually decided to do a different type of work schedule, if you will. Instead of doing 1 month for each project in a 2-month cycle, I'm now going to be doing both projects for 2 months in the 2-month cycle, so I'm working on both of them at the same time. I decided to do this just because I can get more done that way, and so I'm going to be recording a little bit more for the Space Crusade developers vlog here. So, I've gotten a lot of stuff done since the last time I recorded anything. I've actually got the game running, and I'm in the process of debugging it now, and that's what we're going to be recording today, is the debugging process. So what's going on right now is, as you see here, is you have these red dots here, and in Visual Studio these dots are breakpoints. And what happens is that when you run the program in debug mode, when the debugger gets to this line, it will stop processing the code, and it will essentially break or pause the code execution, so you can come into here and look through various values and whatnot, either through actually hovering over the variables or through the watch list, which isn't visible down here because we're not debugging right now. But what's going on right now is that for some reason the planet population value is getting set to a negative number on, I don't know if it's just only some of them or on all of them, but for some reason whenever I try to bring up the value for PP max, it comes up as a negative number. Now, I've been looking at the code that I originally made to do this, and it's working properly. So what I'm thinking is that what's happening is that somehow there's a value that's not getting set properly, or there's something that's not being done at all. I was looking through here earlier, and let's see, where was that yellow line? There should be a yellow line over here indicating a change here. On this one, there wasn't even any of this stuff. What happened is that it was using PP max to store calc population, but that's a float instead of a long int, and I think that might have been causing a problem. So I put that back in, and I'm in the process of going to test it now. I actually waited because I wanted to get PlayClaw running. I had to get a new, had to reactivate my code for some reason. I guess it changed their update policy. It used to be that you had unlimited updates past a year for minor updates, but the major updates, you only had a year's worth of updates for those. Now they've changed it so that any updates you only have for a year, minor or major, which is ridiculous, but whatever. So we're going to go ahead and test it out and see what happens here. So I've got it on debug. I'll go ahead and throw on the, so you can see it's processing things now. It's opening up the game, as it were. So we're going to go new game, so 1. Name, then I guess we'll go with, I've been going with a certain, like the Rifter and then some other stuff, so we'll go 435.104. Alright, so now after that we go through the main, and it hits the planet generation function, and that's where we're at now, so we won't use that. There's actually nothing printed out during this. So here's the watch list. And what this is a place where you can put variables or functions, function calls, and as you go through the code section that you're in, you'll actually be able to see the values as they're done in real time. So for right now, we are checking the value of PE rand, which is 4.28. And so we're going to go down, and it's probably going to come down to here. I actually didn't add my breakpoints in here yet. Let's go ahead and do that. Alright. So, in all likelihood it'll come down to here, and we'll see what happens after that. So, push F5 to continue. Alright, so here we are. PSRAND is now 7.29. So, it does not fall in, oh, let's see. PSRR RAND is 623. So that will be on this one, and it is, so it'll skip this and come back up and redo it. At least it should. Let me see. So if, okay, no, if less than, okay, no, so that is right. It is here. So as you can see, pstore is this huge number with the thing here, and then ppmax is the proper value. Then what's going to happen is that once we get down to the next breakpoint, well, it doesn't matter. It'll be the breakpoint after this one, because we'll have to go -1. So it'll be the previous one here. Okay, so as you can see, it is still an issue. Let's see, what's the value of I? So I is 2, and we're looking at 1, so actually it should be -2. Still is negative. So what's the set update pop? So it's updating the, so let's see, update pop. Okay, so pop's getting set, but the max is not getting set. So maybe that's what the problem is, because I'm calling max pop over in this other function in message processing. Or no, well, yes, actually it is over here somewhere. But it's not that one. Actually it'd be easier to go to main. Let's see, go to. Alright, so yeah, we're calling mpop, and if mpop's not getting set, then that could be the problem. So let's do this. Go back over to game. Gplanets dot at I-1 dot update mpop ppmax set. Alright, I'll go ahead and stop and restart, and that'll recompile and the new change there, and we will try this again. This time I'm going to, I guess I'll check it first. So let's go with 6 this time. 33 and 103. Alright, so we're going to go with mpop again. Let's go ahead and run through a, as you can see, it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. If it's not within this range, it will go back up and continue until it gets within that range. Alright. Alright, so back up. Refresh. Okay, perfect. That's working now. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to go up here to debug, and we're going to say disable all breakpoints. And then we're going to go to main, and we're going to add in some new ones. Essentially just going to do what, follow this stuff through here. Alright, so now we just hit F5 and we'll bring up this. So I'm going to go with option 1. That was something I had added in. Let's see. Let me fix that real quick. That was in... game, I believe. NF Planets. Yeah. Alright, let's go ahead and recompile and start again. This is essentially what debugging is about, is just doing something, seeing if there's some sort of behavior that you are not expecting, and then trying to figure out where it's happening at and why, and then fixing it, and then testing if that fix worked and if it broke anything else. It's really a intensive process. Takes a while sometimes. Alright, so here we are at there from main, so we will continue. Let's go ahead and delete all the watch variables. Alright, so we've got our list of planets, and these blank ones are planet names that don't actually have any planet names. There's some blank elements that I never filled in and still haven't done so. I have to get back and do that. So let's go with Asli. I'll see, I guess. So 12. Okay, good. Population. Perfect. It's not showing up as negative anymore. Alright, so, planet name, Alsi. EKS rating 2.5. Planet population. And what I'm going to do with this now is we're going to change how this respawns. In my... So I'll hit no. Then we come back up here. It's 7. So quit. What we're going to do is if you look over here, what I did with this was, for certain values, I printed out a trailer that would list, essentially the denomination, if you will. And I want to do something like that with this as well. So let's grab this code, or actually, let's just grab the function, and then we can change it as we need to. What's going to happen now is we're going to take this, we're going to put it over in planet. So we're going to say floats get pop, and we're going to use string. I've been doing this string thing for a while now on some of the other ones, like on the relations. or I return a string, and based on the value of the thing that we're trying to return, for example, if we go over to relation, you'll be able to see here. Actually, we don't have. That's fine. We can just go up to here, and as you can see, we go through the various stages, if you will, of affinity, and return whatever that is. So, in other words, if our affinity is greater than 77, then we return allies, and I use that in the I think what we had up here earlier, which was the player information. Yeah, and also here as well in the planet stuff. Essentially, affiliation, you get the affiliation name and then relation status, so you return the status, but on the player information, wherever the hell that was at. If you go down here to case 5, I believe, you'll see how I used it a bit differently. We did the affinity S, and then we put in parentheses the actual value of the affinity. So it prints out as being, ally, then any value over 77 in the parentheses. So it's kind of a little extra user friendliness, I guess you could say. So what we're going to do with that is we're going to apply that to the same principle to the planet population return. As well as for the max return as well. Okay, so let's go over to planet CPP, bring that over here. Go ahead and copy the function in. So, close all this. Let's see. So planets and gets pop s. And we're going to return a string instead of a float. Alright, so don't need those. We do need to add string stream to this up here. Let's see, the include for that would be S-stream. Okay, that's pretty simple. S-stream for string stream. Try saying that 5 times fast. String stream. Include S-stream. PP max PM pop, I believe. Yeah. And string, actually this will be pop. So S P pop. Let's go ahead and add the string variables there. So string trailer SP pop and SPM pop. So strings for so we want to find spop. and place it with SP pop. Place all. Then we're going to find PP max and replace it with P pop. Then P float. With SP pop. And then P or pop with, what did I call it? Just trailer. Alright, and return SP pop plus trailer. Make sure I have that there. Let's change this to K instead of 1000. And change that to T instead of TR. Keep it as simple as possible. Alright, and so I'm going to take this now and copy it. Place it down here and just change it to be the max pop. Trying to figure out what this is actually used for. We may not even need the string stream. We'll see what happens though. I want to replace SP pop with SPM pop, and then P pop with PM pop. That should be all the difference we need to do there. Alright, so let's go ahead and rebuild and see if we got any errors. Nope. Alright, let's go ahead and close that. Probably should have used rebuild over here in the context menu, but so I want to go over to message and back up to wherever we were at. And that's for station one. Okay, here we go. So population. Alright. So now let's go ahead and disable the breakpoints. Alright, so 1, 3, 5, 36, 104. And let's go to Valhalla. Well, that didn't quite work, did it? We got the M there, but that's all that's there. Oh, man. Alright, so we got ourselves some problems. To be expected, though, we're taking something from over there which was used differently and trying to use it here. What I want to do is let's just forget string stream and see if that was the problem here. Or rather, let's use it, but only after this has all been called. Alright, let's see if that does anything. Alright, so since we're in the interest of getting through this quick, I'm just going to put in bogus information. Alright, so Alkin 5. Alright, so it's displaying like that. Let's go 12. So they're all doing it like that again. Alright, so what we need to do now is we need to go through here and figure out what's going on. So, some breakpoints in. Okay. Okay, so here we are. So we're gonna see what's let's see, interesting. I see what's going on here. We're using that to determine the length. Okay. So let's go ahead and change how this works. Go to planet again, set another string in. We'll say string storage. So we'll store it there. So what we'll do is we'll just replace this into here. This way we can use this system but not have to do some weird overriding with things. And then so what will happen is crap, we need to also do a pop storage. That'll be for this. Actually, I'll make it a float. Now what will happen is we'll go pop storage, and that'll be set to SPM pop, and then that will be used for that. I think this will work now. So we go to debugger, let it load, do its thing. Alright, built. So, 1. Again, just putting in the default values. Alright, let's go with fists. Alright, so we've got PM pop. Pop storage. Trailer. And storage dot length. So SPM pop. So SS pop storage. That is very strange. I wonder if it's doing that because... Alright, so SS, perhaps you can't do the same, you can't use a string twice, you have to initialize 2 of them maybe. Let's see, let's go ahead and hit restart. Oops. Alright, so 1. Alright, Memon, I guess we'll go with that one. It's actually in there twice. That's interesting. Shouldn't be possible. Actually, we got Ukbar in there twice as well. Huh. That's odd. Alright, so... Aha, that was the problem. Perfect. So this just keeps it so that the player isn't having to look at this huge value that's, you know, beyond all understanding, and you have to count the values or whatever. Of course, though, you could also just use, could also do a, you know, put in the actual commas and whatnot for that. But I think this works better. It keeps the size down to a smaller amount, so you don't have something that stretches out too far. So we're going to hit no. I'm going to go ahead and disable all breakpoints again. It's going to be hell trying to go through and find all of them now. So I'm going to look at this issue that we see here, that we've got multiple things going. So now I'm not seeing it in here though. At least not right away. No, that was weird. Let's go 7. As you can see, every time you go through, you have a different number of planets, or a different set of planets. That's just how it's going to have to work for now. What's happening is that even if you found a planet before, since we're doing this version of the game is essentially assuming that you're just traveling to a planet, not in a fixed place, because there's no actual map yet. Although I may have to implement something like a map, even if it's just internal facing, because of some of the... Let's go Erebus. Now if we go back to Erebus again, you see it's the exact same. So the while the planets change inside of this function, the data the planets contain does not change. So once a planet has been, destroyed, it'll remain destroyed. Actually, it won't even show up in this list because it's destroyed. If I hit yes, it actually crashes the game because we haven't actually implemented the function that will allow us to go to planets yet. What about stations? I haven't tried this yet. So all defaults. Yay. Loki. And yeah, so just essentially like that. And no and 7. Quit. So what we want to do now is we're going to go out to main. And I'll walk you through how this works now. So we've got our basic main structure, which is using loops. The main menu is inside of its own loop. I should say the title menu. So you make your choices. What happens is we have a system here where we check for various things. For example, if you choose to load a save file, we want to make sure that the save actually exists and that there's data. So what we do is we check the planet table, player data table. And if there aren't any rows, then that tells the game that either there's a problem or that there is no saved data, and so it throws up an error message. And what I've done is I've had to go through and essentially account for each time an error can occur. For example, if B errors, then it prints out whatever the error is, or prints out that there's been an error. If it's 0 rows, then it prints out a different error message. And then we have this one, which tells you that something else is wrong. Normally what would happen is that, like over in the database function class over here in their functions, you have these kind of things, but since we can't access the let's go down to one that actually has it here. Can't access the error message from SQL because SQLite because it's inside of the database that it would happen, and we're not calling from there. Well, either way, I guess even if it would do that, wouldn't it? Though, because we would be still calling these things here. The only difference is that these don't tell you if there's an error, but individually they just create the log entry. What we're doing over here is notifying the player that there was some problem so that things don't fail silently, for the main menu at least. Eventually I'll be doing this for everything where there's possibility of getting an error, but for now there's only specific places that I've done this. So there are places where there will be silent errors that could mean that there will be other bugs resulting from them. But anyway, so we got this. If the player ID is not -1, we do that because we want to do it from 0 to the size of the generated planets, or vector -1. Keep the null, or not null, the 0 index valid, if you will. We go to encounter, ship encounter, and essentially what this will do is it will determine if an encounter is going to happen. Now, for some reason, I was getting an index out of bounds error. I'm not sure why, though. I'll have to put a breakpoint here and we'll see what happens with PID, but it should not be -1. If it is -1, that would cause this. But if it's 0, it shouldn't. But what happens is that, I think you noticed it before when we were looking at the fplanets function briefly. There's a function, or not a function, but a line of code over there that sets something into the I'm wondering if maybe I didn't, let me see, I don't know. Let's go back over here. So we have the set distance. So we're setting it in S planets, but not G planets. So we should probably use S planets, not G planets there. I don't know why I'm using G planets. It actually makes more sense to use S, because we have a list of scanned planets, and that's what we should be looking for. Okay, so -1 though. And if PID is 0, then yeah, boom. Error central. Alright, so, let's see, what's the value we're returning? This is very important. I believe we're returning a value from S planet, so I'm not sure. Yeah, S planet got, okay, S planet.pid, I see. So, what we want to do is we just want to return P choice. We want to take this and use that for other things. So, P choice. Because that way we'll be returning the value that we selected for the S planets vector, instead of returning the value of G planets, which doesn't have this value set in it. And what we'll do down here is we'll have this, and instead we'll say at mgame_m.splanets at pchoice.getPID. And so what this will do, even though it's long as hell, is it says that at this specific gplanets vector point element, and the element is the splanets element pchoice.getPID. PID is set for as when we're doing the F planets, PID is set as the planet ID from the one that was selected. So to put it in terms that are not quite as confusing, what we do is we go through the planets, gplanets vector, and we select a value, an element value from that. So PRID, PRID, or planet random ID, if you want to get technical as for what that actually stands for. And so what happens is we take the planet ID, or we're supposed to, but we don't. And that's another issue. We'll have to add that in the top here. So splanets dot at I dot set PID gplanets dot at prid dot get PID. Alright, so what happens is that we take the planet ID at gplanets prid, and we set it to the value of PID at splanets.I. So, for example, if the prid is 12, and so you could use just prid here, but at some point I might use it, make a system that has it so that the ID of the G planets is not based on just the element number, but rather like a 001 or 1042 or something else that will be used to identify the sector system and then the planet itself. So it'll be like sector 1, system 1, planet 1, so 111, or 1220, or something like that, for the IDs, even though we'd also have the locations also added in at that point in time. But for now, we're just going to do it that way, in case I decide to do something like that. It doesn't really matter either. It's just an added function call. It's not going to impact the performance overall that much, I don't believe. But that's enough rambling. So we got that added in. So we go back over here. We've got our thing set up properly here. So we got the that and that. So back over to map. So you get this int dist passed, and that's the distance from your current location to the planet or station, because both are done here, I believe. And what we essentially want to do is we want to say, let's go open up planets bomber. So I'm going to use, I've been looking at this for functions and stuff. There is a function that we'll use here. I need to find it first. Let's go to game. Actually, we're in game. Alright, so this is my original main function, was in game. Alright, so as you can see, my new main file is much more compact. So the original was at least 833, and I'm pretty sure I deleted a few lines out while I was working on it. My new main is 214 so far. It may end up getting larger as time goes on, but for now it's a lot more compact and a lot less complicated too. So, so I was saying, back over here, we want to find the function that will determine if there is an encounter. So it's probably called something encounter. Let's see. We got a whole bunch of stuff here because what I did before was we actually did the all the looping through here instead of in their own things. So we got the battle loop, the station menu loop, and the game loop all in one file, and it was just totally messed up. Alright, so battle loop, that's promising. Alright, so encounter random. Alright, bool encounter check. Let's go see what this is about. Go to definition. So random. So it was the encounter rate was random 1 to 20 plus station distance divided by 2. And so if it was if the encounter rate was over 30, then there was an encounter. If it was under or equal to 30, then there was not. So what we want to do is something similar. I'm not sure how the player ship it, actually does anything really with this. Doesn't seem to do anything anyway. So we're going to do something similar, let me a little more complex though. So back over here to map. And so you have the distance, and we're going to say, let's add some extra things in here first. Move this over. Int encounter random 1 and enc rand 2. Alright. To store randoms for encounter, I guess encounter processing. I guess we'll say that. So we go to here now, and we go int inc rand1 equals random 1 to 20, and then rand2 equals random 1 to 100. So if rand 1 times dist divided by 2 is greater than 25. And then we say if inc rand 2 times dist times inc rand 2 1 divided by um 10 is less than 60. Interesting. Oh. We're missing a, there we go. It's less than 60. Return true. Else return false. So now if that is less than 25, we want to take this and essentially do the opposite. So if is greater than 60, return true, else return false. Alright. Now we'll see how that works. Put some breakpoints here. Alright, so let's go ahead and start her up. See if we get any errors or not. Nope, succeeded with the build, so we shall start up again. Alright, show planets, 9, Sajan, and yes. Alright, so kill all this. So there we go. Alright, so rand 1 ENC rand 2 and dist. So 350. Interesting. So false, and we have nothing going on. Alright, so let's go back out to here and take a look. So if alright, so then we go to the battle loop. So let's hit this, figure out what's going on in here. Alright. Obviously something was going on here. Okay, let's go ahead and start again. Let's go Loki. Yes. Alright, let's go ahead and clear it all out again. So P relations dot size. That should be 3, I believe. Yeah. Alright. So 5. G planets. Even ask if I spelled it correctly. Oh, really? Earth Alliance. Okay. $80. So BPD battle should be false. I see. Need to add a break to that. Alright, so just go ahead and stop and restart again. This is the whole process. Is once you find something, fix it, you have to restart the thing, and it gets really annoying after a while, like I was mentioning, because you just have to keep restarting and redoing things. So we go with Fest this time. Unknown, good. Unknown is good because now we can test another function here. Now the add relation function. So back over to, I don't know, I guess back over here. Yes. Alright, so it should cycle through until I equals 3. Well, that's odd. So G planets gets ID. Guessing it's PID 70. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a little bit of investigative work here. So ID 70. We need to look up and see if that is actually what's going on here. So planet data, planet names. Well, actually, I guess that's true. That's actually generated inside of the game, so we wouldn't know from that. Duh. G planet dot at 70 dot get name. I guess can't get it from in here. Alright, let's go ahead and figure out what the hell's going on here. So, stop, or actually let's go restart. One name. Alright, so 13. So we're gonna do a manual break. And we're going to step out. Damn it. Break all. Go back to. Alright, let's go ahead and hit proc. And we are passing S planets through, I believe. Yeah, 15. S planets should still have the affinity though, so. Actually, no, it doesn't. So what we need to do is we need to put the break at up here in F planets. Alright, so go ahead and kill all this off. Or rather, let's open up another watch page. If we can. He used to be able to do multiple watch pages. Where are they? Other windows, find results, toolbox, debug. There we go, watch 2. Alright, so we want to go PRID. Alright, so 70. Interesting. Alright, so G planets dot at pred dot get would erase maybe. Technically the race in this case should be an empire, but we can add that in later. So, okay. So the first planet is Juicelith. Affiliation unknown. Which shouldn't be the case because the player knows about that. Huh. So I should get affiliation in that race. Well, as you can see, debugging is a really heavy process of just testing things and trying to break things and looking for problems. And I can continue, but you get the idea of how things work and how head banging against the wall inducing this process is. But yeah, we finally got the game in a playable, somewhat playable state. Still working on it. Hopefully I'll have it done by the end of the month. Pretty sure I can get it done, but it's going to be a lot of work, I think, still to get things working properly. But that's going to do it for this kind of impromptu, added on developer's vlog recording session. So thanks for watching. Hope you found it somewhat entertaining, if not educational. If you have any comments or questions, leave them below in the comments section. And we'd appreciate it if you subscribe to our channel, and I will see you next time.